We're happy to say that we've had a very productive couple of days. We have several representatives from Unified Command that are going to address their specific areas. We'll wait for the train again. As I was saying, we have representatives from Unified Command, and we'll start with Adam from the EPA.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Adam Adams, Federal On-Scene Coordinator for the EPA, doing oversight and as part integrated with the Unified Command here on this response. There's a lot of information this morning, so I'll kind of update the status. So the site, the tank farm, and the tanks inside, every hour, every day, the security and stabilization of those tanks is being conducted, and it's getting better every time. Emissions are lower, as well as on the water operations. We have oil recovery operations on the water. That operation is continuing and ramps up. We also we're containing, on the water operations, we're containing and recovering the oil in Tucker Bayou as well as in any other large pockets. We have it divisioned off, so we have a really good scope of work and strategy moving forward with that. Stepping out a little bit farther, in the community air monitoring, in the last 24 hours, there's been no detections or concentration. Sorry. Thanks. So in the last 24 hours, there's been no air monitoring detections. Air monitoring is continuously done by a lot of resources, by EPA, by TCEQ, Harris County, by ITC. I believe there's over 100 assets conducting that work in the field. EPA continues to have the air monitoring personnel on the ground for confirmation. We have the Taga bus that's, for several hours yesterday, was downwind in the community, continuously monitoring the air quality. And then we have the Aspect aircraft. The aircraft did shut down. It was probably earlier than expected yesterday due to some weather conditions, but the results have been consistent. No detections from any of those responses in any of those monitoring efforts that warranted an alert notification to the Unified Command, which gets disseminated to the local state governments that make the decision to shelter in place or take a certain level of action. So that's very positive based on the operation going forward. Top priority for the EPA here as well as throughout the United States, 24 hours a day, is the protection of public health and the environment across the entire country. 24 hours a day, that's our job. And progress is moving forward. Thanks.
Good morning, I'm Captain Kevin Odett, Coast Guard Incident Commander. I am the Coast Guard Incident Commander supporting the EPA as a lead federal on-scene coordinator. I'd first off like to say that the priorities remain ensuring the safety of our on-scene responders, as well as mitigating any impact to the waterway or the environment, and then reopening the Houston Ship Channel. And I'd like to talk about reopening the Houston Ship Channel and focus on that. The ship channel remains closed. However, yesterday we had a tank ship successfully transit through the impacted area, and the goal was to assess the impact to the on-scene recovery operations, as well as ensure that there's no visible oil on the hull. Both were successful, so this morning we have scheduled an additional tank ship to take an inbound transit, as well as a tank barge that will come inbound. Additionally, we'll have one tank ship and tank barge go transit outbound. They will be visually inspected, and if there is any oil visible on the hull, they will be sent to a decontamination facility that has been pre-identified. Additionally, yesterday we were able to do a partial opening of the San Jacinto River where it comes into the Houston Ship Channel. Yesterday mornings and afternoons overflights did not find any pollutants or any oil in the water. So this morning we've opened up the San Jacinto River to two-way tow and barge traffic. We'll continue to assess the transits this morning, and we'll decide this afternoon if we can have any additional ship transits or barge transits. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brent Weber. I'm the Incident Command and part of the Unified Command. I'm going to give you a brief update on where we are as a Unified Command. We are still in the proactive response mode. That's a good sign. We had 3 objectives yesterday that we were focused on. The first being product removal of the tanks and the tank farm. The second objective was to remediate the ditches within the ITC property. And then the third objective was to continue remediating our waterways. I'm happy to report that my team made significant progress on all 3 objectives, and they met these objectives while having minimal impact to the community and also no injuries to our responders. So today, going forward, So let me give you a little bit more specifics on our progress. We were successfully able to remove additional product from tank 80-7. So that tank is considered empty and secured at this time. We removed all of the product from tank 80-14. That tank is now considered empty and secure. We are actively removing product from tank 80-10, and we expect to have that tank empty this afternoon. So that would be another tank that's empty and secured. And then the next tank we're targeting is tank 80-13. We have been remediating the ditches from the beginning of this incident, and we continue to remediate the ditches within our property and along Tidal Road. The ditches we've made significant progress, but it's always a focus of us to remediate the ditches. Lastly, the waterways. The Coast Guard is handling the remediation of the waterways with the support of the EPA. They're making significant progress. So the Unified Command has basically the same objectives for the next 24-hour period. Product removal of the tank farm and the tanks in the tank farm. We're going to focus on tanks finishing 80-10. We're going to move to tank 80-13. We'll continue to pump the tank farm containment area out to contain vessels. We'll continue to remediate the ditches along Tidal Road within ITC and Independence, and probably start remediating around the perimeter of the tank farm containment wall as well. And then the Coast Guard and the EPA will continue focusing their efforts on remediating our waterways. Once again, our goal, along with the objectives, is to do this work and accomplish these objectives without impact to the community and without injury to our first responders. And now I'm going to hand it over to Mayor Mouton for some additional comments.
I'm very, very optimistic in regards to the progress that's being made. I stand here today and tell you in assurance that safety to the public is priority number 1. I am happy to announce that the Deer Park School District has resumed school today, and to say anything less than I am amazed at the collaborative effort that is occurring here today, and would continue to encourage the community to keep our responders and all who are involved with this incident in your prayers, praying for this incident so we can reach a point where we can assure the public that this site has been secured and in so many words go back to a normal aspect of life. So with that said, I guess we'll open it up for questions.
Questions, yes. Questions?
Please, can you tell us, everyone that went back to, you just mentioned that the Deer Park ISD is open, but what can you tell parents about their concerns still of their children, going back to school? We can get Spanish also.
From the City of Deer Park's perspective, we're still very, very active in monitoring the situation and making sure that all of these areas are safe. We've had no readings for the last several days of any kind to enact an actionable item in regards to going back into shelter in place, which obviously there's a standard that we would all respond to. But from my perspective, I've been in communication with the school districts, and everyone is in agreement, and we feel safe at this time for that to occur.
Thank you.
For the TCQ, is there any update on the testing of the water samples from the Houston Ship Channel? If you could provide any information on that?
Good morning. My name is Jeff Kunze, K-U-N-Z-E, with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. I would refer you to our webpage for the ITC fire. Specifically, you can Google TCQ ITC fire or search it from our website. There is limited results there at this time. As soon as additional water sampling results are available and have been reviewed and validated, that's where they'll be posted. And it's my understanding continuously throughout the sampling and analysis results process.
But this point, there aren't any results for water samples from the waterways themselves?
Correct, yes. Thank you.
As ITC began the bankruptcy process, any filings?
No.
And how many claims have been filed from individuals?
I'm sorry?
How many claims have been filed from individuals claiming economic loss? Do we know?
Do you know?
I do not have that number. My efforts are focused on
Incident command.
Yeah, I don't track that number, so I couldn't report that number. My focus, as I continue to tell you, is resolving this incident without further impact to the community and protecting the responders that are involved in there on site.
How do I get that number? Just an email?
So I was just given additional information, and there have been 1,600 claim inquiries
As of Friday.
as of Friday.
1,600 what? I'm sorry.
Claim inquiries. And that's calls just coming in asking.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
This is for the Coast Guard. What is the soonest that the ship channel could reopen? If everything goes well.
We will continue to assess it each day, but as long as there's oil in the water and cleanup operations and recovery operations are occurring, it'll be restricted, whether it be one-way traffic. So we're hopeful. I heard just before the news brief that the vessel that transited this morning had no impact to its hull. So we're looking at assessing it, like I mentioned, later this morning, and we hope to be able to start having traffic move more frequently. But it will only be daylight only until we can actually complete the recovery operations on the water.
How many ships are impacted in the channel and or like in limbo, I guess?
So in a typical day, the Houston pilots will move 60 tank ships and also freight ships, so your larger deep draft ships. And we have this area above Lynchburg, upwards of 100 towboats and barges will move each day.
Could y'all speak?
All right.
I was going to say, can somebody talk about risk now that we're really in the cleanup process? Is the risk lower for benzene exposure from any of the chemicals that are being pumped out?
Brett?
I mean, are we getting to the point where the risk continues to go down day by day, hour by hour?
Every hour and every day and every minute that we're moving product from the damaged tanks into a contained tank, the risk profile changes on this tank form. So as we continue to move, the Unified Command, very early in this process, when we just started discussing the product removal, we're very aligned that we would attack the benzene containing tanks first as a priority because of the potential impact to the community. So every day that we move that product, we are reducing the risk profile of this entire area.
And can you give us a little bit of sense of what we may be seeing from the air? It looks like visuals of foam flying around at the place that it's happening. Can you give us an idea of what that may be?
Yeah, so if it's white, it's foam. So that's the fire protectant foam that we continue to lay the foam on the entire tank farm area. That's for two reasons. One is for fire protection, just to prevent a fire from reoccurring, and the second is to help emission reduction.
To piggyback on his question about the removal of the product and everything, I know you mentioned today's tank and tomorrow's tank. If you were to include today's tank and tomorrow's tank and the remaining tanks that need to have product removed, how many is that?
So I'll go through the tanks. I'll tell you the tanks that are empty. So it's just a lot of information. So tank 80-7 is empty. Tank 80-9 is empty. Tank 80-10 is being emptied today. Tank 80- 11 is full, but it's lube oil, so it's not an emission concern whatsoever. There's no emissions. Tank 80-12 is empty. Tank 80-13 is one of the tanks we're focused on tonight. Tanks 14 and tanks 15 are empty. So I guess we're around 6 to 7 tanks now getting empty and close to being secure.
The two tanks are empty. Are they compromised?
Most of the tanks in that tank farm are compromised. They're damaged, but they're product free and secure.
But the two you're emptying right now, or will be emptying, they are compromised?
Tank 80-10 is somewhat compromised, but it's structurally intact. So is 80-13.
Thank you.
Yep.
Could you talk about how on Friday the fire reignited?
Does anyone need a translation in Spanish of the questions that have been asked so far? Do you want?
Yes.
Okay. What's your question?
The one that we just asked about
Okay.
the minutes. I asked the minutes.
Can you repeat your question, please?
The fact that, everyone is going back to school, how safe is this for children to go back to school?
Bueno, el alcalde de Deer Park, el alcalde Button, ha asegurado que la zona está segura, que se siguen monitoreando, por supuesto, todos los niveles de agua, de aire, etcétera, y que él se siente confiado de que lo que se ha hecho ha sido en la dirección correcta. El distrito escolar de Deer Park ha reabierto y se sigue pidiendo, por favor, a la comunidad de Deer Park que atienda una visita a su médico, que haga una visita a su médico si tienen algún problema de salud y que por favor continúen pidiendo y orando por las cuadrillas que están trabajando en esta emergencia.
Esos claims, can you tell you what she says about the claims that you have received?
Hasta el viernes pasado tuvimos aproximadamente 1,600 claims, reclamos, como se diría en español, que hemos recibido en la línea de ITC.
En cuanto a los tanques que ya han sido vaciados, ¿nos puedes dar una idea acerca de la información que mencionaba el señor?
El comandante de este incidente, el señor Brent Weber, ha hablado de la actitud proactiva que se mantiene en este operativo, tanto al remover los tanques, al remediar la barda, al reparar la barda que está alrededor del parque de los tanques y limpiar todo el agua que está por ahí en esa zona. No hay heridos, les repito, no hay heridos como hasta este momento. Del tanque 80-7 se ha removido todo el producto, igual que del tanque 80-14. El tanque 80-13 es el objetivo siguiente. Se mantiene la intención de vaciarlo lo más pronto posible y el proceso de remover el producto se encuentra activo en el tanque 80-10.
En cuanto a la situación del canal, ¿cuál es?
El canal de navegación estuvo cerrado, se ha reabierto de manera parcial, en las últimas horas estuvo abierto de manera parcial, se ha reabierto en ambas direcciones en este momento, pero la Guardia Costera todavía está cautelosa sobre la situación que hay en el canal, porque si hay medición o presencia de alguna partícula contaminante, la zona se considera que está todavía en riesgo.
¿Por cuánto tiempo va a continuar todo esto?
No se sabe todavía, no se sabe cuánto tiempo va a durar el operativo, ni cuánto tiempo tomará por completo la labor de limpieza y para recoger todo el producto que se vertió en diferentes lados.
You had a question over here?
Yeah, could you just go over the Friday incident again, how it happened and how it was contained?
What incident specific?
The reigniting of the tanks.
The reoccurrence of the fire. The exact cause is unknown because we haven't conducted a full root cause analysis of that incident. I will tell you at that time there was a lot going on with the tank farm containment and the foam. So I think as the mayor and I have had multiple conversations, as you can imagine, about the entire incident. And I explained to the mayor, as long as you have fuel and you have oxygen, the only component you need in the fire triangle is either a spark or a heat source. There's still a lot of heat in the tank farm, and there's potential for spark, even static electricity, to create that fire triangle. That's why the foam is so important, and that's why we continue to emphasize putting the foam on the entire area and to prevent any kind of reoccurrence potential for the fire.
And how many tanks ended up reigniting?
It was tanks 80-2, 80-3, and 80-5.
One more question?
Does ITC yet have any estimates as to the potential liability of this incident in terms of the claims? And secondly, does it have a commitment from its parents that it will be able to pay those claims?
At this time, I know that we have been mainly focused on the safety of everyone and the incident itself. We are diligently trying to get to that stage, but as of right now, I have no information I can share. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for delivering a message to the communities. We, as Unified Command, of course, want everyone to be safe, our communities to be safe, and we thank you.
Captain, quick question for you. Is it fair to say that the San Jacinto River is open? I know you said it was partially opened earlier.
So we did a partial opening last night, allowed 2 vessels to transit out. So last night we did the test. We did the visual inspection of the hull after we had the overflight. So this morning at 9 o'clock, there's a boom still, as a precautionary. We're pretty confident.